Good morning. This is Billy Storms, pastor at Covenant Baptist Church in Corpus Christi, and this is my Tuesday morning message to my family that I can't see as often as I would like to. I had just come to Corpus Christi back in 1980. I had just begun pastoring a church here, and my secretary told me that one of our faithful church members had had surgery down at Doctors Regional Hospital, and so I went down there to see him. I think it was on a Tuesday. I normally went to hospitals on Wednesday before Wednesday night prayer meeting, but I think this was a Tuesday. And I walked into his room. He had had a minor surgery, and walking into his room, I heard him share with me that his pain was intractable, that as minor as the surgery had been, there was just not a way for the doctors to relieve him of the pain that he was enduring moment by moment. And so I didn't know what to do. I just listened to him, and after having introduced myself to him as his new pastor, had a prayer with him and left the room. Wednesday, I go back the next morning, and as I walk into the room, this man immediately blurts out, "You healed me." And I said something like, "Excuse me?" And he said, yesterday, the moment you finished praying for me and you walked out of the room, the pain was gone, and I'm headed home today. Now, I tell you that story because I have visited hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in the hospital over the years that I've been in Corpus Christi, and even some people outside of Corpus Christi that I knew. I would visit them in their hospitals, and this was my first one foray or one experience of anybody accusing me or thanking me for doing something that I really am not responsible for. And as I was thinking about how I would wish to be with all of you who are facing this very difficult time, the story that came to me is from the book of Acts, the 3rd chapter. And I want to read it to you. I'm reading it from the Message, and so it's going to have a little bit more of a contemporary flavor to it. But let me share with you this particular story. The author of the book of Acts says that in the 3rd chapter, beginning at verse 1 day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Peter and John were on their way to the temple for prayer meeting. At the same time, there was a man crippled from birth being carried up to his usual place, because every day he was set down at the temple gate, the one they called Beautiful. And it was there that he was placed in order that he could beg from those who were going into the temple, somehow knowing that if you're going to go to worship, maybe your heart is more sympathetic to be in tune with people who are hurting, who cannot join you inside of their prayer time. When he saw Peter and John about to enter the temple, he asked for a handout. Peter, with John at his side, looked him straight in the eye and said, "Look here." He looked up expecting to get something from them. Peter said, "I don't have a nickel to my name, but what I do have, I give you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, walk." He grabbed him by the hand and pulled him up. In an instant, his feet and ankles were firm. He jumped to his feet and walked. The man went into the temple with him, walking back and forth, dancing and praising God. Everyone there saw him walking around and praising God. They recognized him as the one who sat begging at the temple's beautiful gate, rubbed their eyes, astonished, scarcely believing what they were seeing. The man threw his arms around Peter and John, ecstatic. All the people ran up to where they were at Solomon's porch to see it for themselves. When Peter saw that he had a congregation, he addressed those people. "O Israelites, why does this take you by such complete surprise? And why do you stare at us as if our power or piety made him walk? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of our ancestors, has glorified his son Jesus, the very one that Pilate called innocent. You repudiated the Holy One, the Just One, and asked for a murderer in his place. You no sooner had killed the author of life than God raised him from the dead, and we are witnesses to that event. Faith in Jesus' name put this man, whose condition you know so well, on his feet. Yes, faith, and nothing but faith, put this man healed and whole right before your eyes." That's an incredible promise as I think back over my life of being a minister and walking with people who have no good feet under them or no good legs. It also gives me perspective, because even that particular day when John and Peter were going up to the 3rd hour, the 9th hour of the day to offer their afternoon prayers, there were other men and maybe even women who were affirmed and who needed the help. We know of several instances in the New Testament where people who were needy found themselves at the temple precincts because it was there that they would meet the most kind and God-fearing kind of people. But my response as I look at my life and my time as a minister, just like Simon Peter had, whenever I walked into that man and he immediately said, "You heal me," I very quickly told him that I was not responsible for what had happened to him. I may have been a servant, and I appreciated his letting me know that he experienced the power of Jesus Christ in healing at that moment, but that was not mine to be in charge of. I don't get to dole it out. You can't pay me enough to bring healing to somebody else. That the ultimate healing that we all need is the healing of the gift of faith in Jesus Christ. Maybe what our healing is today, for you, for me, would be the prayer that we as recorded in the New Testament, "Oh Lord, help thou my unbelief." Or maybe your prayer today is, "Thank you for being with me in the valley of the shadow of death. Thank you for being with me when I feel so alone." Or maybe your prayer today can be, "Oh God, give me the courage to take somebody else by the hand in your name and be Christ to them. Not because I talk a good, highfalutin religious language, but simply because I have a friendship to offer them when maybe somebody else won't touch them or give them the attention." Remember, Peter was the one who simply said, "I don't have a cent to my name, but what I give to you is what I have. It's Jesus Christ. He's the one who has the power to let you be human again, to enter those places that you were excluded from because you were crippled and you were unavailable. You don't have to be big shot. You don't have to be a miracle worker. Just be a friend. There is the place where Christ makes himself known at the most odd places in the middle of the week, not just on Sunday. You can be Christ to somebody via text or via phone call, or maybe by doing something kind for them. You have no idea the magic. You have no idea the healing that can come to their experience and to their situation. It is even my hope that these moments with you, very brief and casual though they be, will find a way of touching your heart and letting you know that you're not alone. I'm going to pray for you now. God, bless richly my family. Be with them in this time. Grant them a sense that they are worth everything to you, that they have incredible resources to be a blessing, to be a nurturing presence for people who find themselves alone, believing that nobody has a handout worth anything for them. We have you. There couldn't be a better gift. So I give them to you, asking that you guide their lives and bless them as they walk and they ready themselves to re-enter life whenever you bring us freedom to do such that. Bless them, Father, for I give them to you in the name of that living Christ. Amen. God bless you this week. I'll be sharing with you again a thought come Thursday. Talk to you then.